Get ready, because on Saturday, December 5th, best team for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl will be here. It's gonna be a blast, so I hope to see all of you there. Now, on with the video. Hey guys, and welcome back to another Mystic Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl video. At least that's how it feels. But man, there are so many things to talk about and go over with these games, I can't help it. Today, I've got a top 10 list for you guys, focused solely on an in-game perspective of the best Pokemon to use in a playthrough. And before you wonder it, no, this isn't a video you've already watched. See, before the games came out, I made a video of the top 10 best Pokemon you should use. And now I've got the top 10 best Pokemon to use in the games. There's a difference, as those were based on no knowledge of the games and a lot of my personal opinion. While now, we've got all the knowledge about what's in the game, and it's more based on actual facts. Now, to set some ground rules, we won't be talking about the 3 starters in this video, as all of them are relatively good to use and would just be taking up space on the list. I'm also not counting the Manaphy you get through Mystery Gift or the Mew and Jirachi gifted to you early on if you have saved data of previous Pokemon Switch games. Really, that's it. Honestly, I just wanted this list to be of Pokemon you go out and get instead of just being straight up given. It makes things a little more interesting, right? So let's waste no more time and get into it. Let's kick off today's list with an interesting Pokemon, Drapion. So, with all the Pokemon there are as options, why did I go with Drapion? Well, let's start at the stats. Drapion has merely 90 base attack and 95 base speed, which come together very solidly for a Pokemon used in-game wise. Its defense though is tremendous, being base 110. And with the Poison Dark typing, it manages to eat up tons of hits while having only one weakness. Drapion is capable of taking a lot of punishment while dealing it back out, and coming across a Skorupi isn't all that difficult. You either find it in the Grand Underground or the Great Marsh. It's as easy as that. The moves in its pool include a ton of coverage. We're talking the elemental Fangs, and then strong stab moves like Poison Jab and Knockoff. What holds back Drapion is really just its later acquisition, as Skorupi needs to get to level 40 to evolve. Plus, if I'm being honest, there are more Pokemon coming up on the list that can do some of the exact stuff Drapion is capable of, but better. I'm talking about more coverage, of course, but we'll get more into that later when we talk about other Pokemon. For now, just know Drapion is definitely good and worth using in a playthrough. Next up here on the list is the Pokemon on our thumbnail, Houndoom. So here's what's up with the Hellhound and why it made the list. It contributed too much needed variety in these games. The fire typing, as we all know, is a massive meme in Sinnoh. The original games offered you only Rapidash and Infernape if you wanted fire representation, and that's no good. Now, don't get me wrong, Houndoom isn't the only fire type they made available in these games on top of the 2 usual suspects. They added Magby too, meaning Magmortar was on the table too. That said, Houndoom is available on its own walking around in the Grand Underground, and it earned this spot over Magmortar due to it simply being easier to get and being available super early on. Its special attack is 110, which as you can guess is one of the best stats among the available fire types. So, having the power as soon as you enter the underground is not to be ignored. It's even available before you head in to face off with Gardenia, so impact can be made quickly. It's also super easy to get great TMs now, so you can grab Flamethrower much sooner than level 50 at the Veilstone department store for a super affordable price. I will say, Houndoom doesn't have the most impressive move pool, but honestly, that's fine. If it's only providing fire coverage and then a little bit of dark in the late game, that's no problem. It's still great to have on the team and one of the best Pokemon to use in these games. It's time for a Fairy-type Pokemon here next, and it won't be the only one we talk about in this top 10. Obviously, with the Fairy typing being the best in the franchise, it shouldn't be too surprising to see a couple on this list. The first one is going to be Togekiss, bringing its great special stats into the discussion. It can take hits well with 115 special defense and hit back with 120 special attack, which isn't something anyone should sleep on. Being a fairy flying type, it has a few weaknesses that are annoying, but that can be dealt with. Many ice and electric moves are usually special, so they're probably not going to be things Togekiss really has to worry about. As for its moves, there are plenty. Fairy and flying type moves, of course, then some good coverage moves in the fire, electric, and psychic realms. What's the most important part of Togekiss though? Well, it's that Serene Grace ability, which promotes the second-hand effects of Togekiss's moves. You could cause some burns, paralyze a few Pokemon, and even flinch them with Air Slash. It's just worth using Togekiss for Serene Grace alone, but its move pool and stats really add on to things. So, here in this spot, we've got a pretty obvious Pokemon with Roserade. You guys already know how much I personally love using Roserade, and it's a Pokemon you guys all seem to love as well. In these remakes, it's still just as useful as ever, with Bidoof being available super early in your adventure. The Shiny Stone remains something that you need to wait on if you're not willing to put in the work, which is the one drawback here. You can find it in the Grand Underground by doing some mining though. So, like I said, work for the Shiny Stone and you'll find it early on. Now, Roserade has a ton of potential with its move pool, including access to Dazzling Gleam and Shadow Ball. That's alongside two powerful stab moves in Sludge Bomb and Energy Ball or Grass Knot or something. There are plenty of Pokemon out in Sinnoh that a Grass type can excel against. And with the Fairy typing introduced to Sinnoh for the first time, you better believe having poison moves is important. As a matter of fact, look at this. Against Cynthia in the championship battle, a Roserade running a Grass, Poison, and Fairy type move can take out over half of her team on its own. Sorry there, Spiritomb, but you're nothing anymore but an afterthought to a Fairy move. You too, Garchomp. Roserade's move pool really earned it a spot here on the list today, and on the teams of thousands of Pokemon fans. Oh man, you guys don't know how excited I am for this Pokemon closing out the first half of this list. It's gonna be my boy, Snorlax. Here's what's incredibly exciting. Munchlax is very easy to get now. Instead of needing to wait forever and hoping for it to appear on a honey tree, now you can just find it in the underground after a certain point. When you use Snorlax, you're getting a strong physical attacker and massive special wall. It's just got a fighting type weakness, and that's pretty much it. So you can throw Snorlax out at almost anything and have a pretty decent shot at taking a hit easily. If nothing else, it's really just a shame that the majority of its move pool is special moves, and it is most certainly not a special attacker. However, what it does have in physical moves, like Body Slam, Earthquake, and Crunch, it can get tons of mileage out of stuff like that, even if it's just being hit for neutral damage most of the time. You guys are used to me talking about Snorlax on best teams and whatnot already. But in regards to running through Sinnoh, it pays off big time. So many of the gyms in Sinnoh rely on special attackers to succeed, and Snorlax may as well be their biggest nightmare. Man, I love this fat boy, and I know you guys do too. We open up the top 5 with the trait evolution. And before you get up all in arms, just remember, I didn't say in the intro that we wouldn't be including traded Pokemon. So you're not allowed to be upset. Outside of a couple bucks Nintendo will charge you, it's very easy to trade Pokemon in these games with quick access to the Union Room no matter where you are. And that played a little bit of a part here. Gengar is our number 5 Pokemon, with Ghastly available in the Grand Underground, as well as several earlier areas in the game. Ghastly evolves at level 25, and then obviously you can evolve into Gengar immediately with really no drawbacks, unless you're a massive Haunter fan. Gengar is yet another Pokemon that is super strong, boasting 130 special attack and can't miss 110 speed. That leaves you with Gengar's great power early on, but once again, this is another Pokemon that becomes even better thanks to easy TM access. Give this thing Sludge Bomb, give it Shadow Ball, you probably feel comfortable with just knowing you're getting the most out of its stab. Well, how about Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, Thunderbolt, and Energy Ball? The possibilities are endless with Gengar if you want to turn it into a coverage machine. Honestly, it's shocking it's even at number 5 and not like the number 1 spot. However, there's always a reason for these things, and it goes beyond just my belief that the next few Pokemon are better. See, Gengar is hurt more by its defenses than the next few Pokemon. It's probably going to get wrecked by a Sucker Punch, and due to the nature of in-game playthroughs, there's a chance you don't end up with an advantageous speed nature or throw EVs into that particular stat. So you might end up outsped from time to time despite Gengar's good speed, and it can really be punished. That said, the biggest reason why Gengar is opening the top 5 really just is because the next few Pokemon are better. Let's find out what they are already. Let's do another trait evolution. No, don't adjust your YouTube, you're not watching a no restrictions best team. It's Alakazam, folks. Yep. I love this thing, and it continues to be fantastic even in these games. It's so easy to get Abra, and that means it's so easy to get Alakazam. It has 135 base special attack and 120 speed, and it could be yours right during the first parts of your journey. I won't make this too long of an entry, as you guys know why it's here. Powerful Psychic type moves, TMs like Energy Ball and Dazzling Gleam, and a setup move in Calm Mind. Get out of town, guys. It's just so good. Why isn't it higher? It's because it doesn't have a great deal of strong coverage like a few of the next Pokemon have. If only it learned Thunderbolt. But still, the powers that be do deny. I'm sure some of you might argue for it to be higher though. I look forward to these comments. What Pokemon got the bronze medal today? It's another fairy Pokemon. This time, it's Azumarill. It's kinda wild how this was the first water-type Pokemon of the list, right? Sinnoh isn't really the top region that I can think of when I see the water typing. Sure, Gastrodon, Gyarados, Floatzel, and my main fish Lumineon aren't bad, and there are definitely other water types in the games that are by no means pushovers. But for some reason, it just feels like Sinnoh lacks in the water department. That's a conversation for another time though. Let's talk about Azumarill. So this thing is of course a popular Pokemon among many people for playthroughs. Its fairy typing is absolutely great, and its ability Huge Power is probably the biggest plus for it as well. Its attack stat is getting doubled, and thus moves like Play Rough and Aqua Jet are hitting harder. Honestly, it's even worth waiting until you get to the Great Marsh to get a Marill. That's how good Azumarill can be. By level 50, it can get Superpower as well, which provides some decent coverage. Honestly, while some of you might be underwhelmed by Azumarill being this high on the list, I don't think you really should be. It's got such amazing power and 2 great offensive typings that threaten a massive amount of Pokemon during your journey. Dragons, ground types, fire types, rock types, it doesn't matter. Azumarill is large and in charge, even if it doesn't offer a ton of coverage. It's time for the penultimate Pokemon on the list, and it's going to be yet another fairy type Pokemon. It's just fairy on fairy on fairy here on this list it seems. This one is in a similar vein to Alakazam, as we're going to be talking about Gardevoir here. Guardi is a powerful Pokemon on the special end, and boasts the almighty fairy psychic typing that gives stab access to arguably the most powerful typings in the franchise. It's got access to Moonblast, Psychic, Calm Mind, and don't forget about Thunderbolt, Energy Ball, and Shadow Ball too. These are really powerful options for Gardevoir that easily make it one of the best Pokemon you can use, especially with how early you can find Rolts roaming around beneath the earth. Coverage is what won the day with the next Pokemon, but don't get it twisted. Guardi is one of the best Pokemon you can use in these games. It puts in a ton of work against just about everything. Before we hop into number 1, I want to address a comment I know this video is probably going to be getting, and that is, where is Garchomp? Well, Gabite evolves at level 48. By the time level 48 is reached, that's way too late in my opinion. Also, you need Strength for Gible, which is the 6th gym, and only by the 8th gym does Gabite show up in the underground. It's practically Elite 4 timing, and that's my argument. I don't deny Garchomp's strength, I just think the wait time of getting it is way too long. Here it is, the moment you've all been waiting for. the best Pokemon to use in a playthrough in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Now, if you saw my video on the top 10 Pokemon you should use prior to the release of these games, then you are already familiar with this number 1 pick, Clefable. That's right, it's one more fairy typing closing out this list. Go figure, right? Who would have thought that fairy type Pokemon would be some of the best to use in this region that didn't have them during the original run? So let me get this right out of the way now. In a bit of a day/night moment with Snorlax from earlier, Clefable actually is a little difficult to get. It's hard to hold that against this powerful beast, but it's only fair we bring it up. It is not simple getting a Moonstone. Either you've got to mine one up, which can take a good long while, or you get to get one off a wild Cleffa, whether it be through using Thief or capturing one. That's honestly the biggest problem with Clefable. But having to spend time getting this item is well worth it. Why is it worth having? Well, that'd be because of what we've spoken about a few times over already today. There are tons of very easy TMs available for purchase, and Clefable can essentially learn all of them. Here's a quick rundown of them. Ice Beam, Flamethrower, Thunderbolt, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, Dazzling Gleam, Water Pulse, and Grass Knot. That is an insane amount of coverage, and you can even rack up Calm Mind for a setup. And Moonblast is a level up move too. Its 95 base special attack is definitely solid enough to make use of all of those moves. And don't you dare forget about the Magic Guard as an ability, which is really good. It's just hard to outperform a fairy type that can practically learn a move from every single typing. Clefable is the best Pokemon to use in these games, if not one of the most annoying to get at times. That is going to do it for another top 10 here today. We looked at the best Pokemon you can use in BDSP, and while the top 5 can probably be rearranged a little bit depending on your opinions, in my opinion, this is just right. Now, coming up very soon, we're going to be going over the top 10 strongest Pokemon to use in these games from a competitive aspect, which is also going to be a ton of fun. Keep it locked and loaded here on Mystic Umbreon, as all December, we're going to be having a fun time with these awesome new remakes. Thanks for watching, guys. Remember that next Saturday is Best Team Day, so be sure to get hyped. I want to give a huge thanks to my phenomenal team and for the amazing art done each week by Danny the Demon. I couldn't do all of this without them. If y'all enjoyed the video and want to see more content like this, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Be sure to leave a comment too. It really helps us out. For more bite-sized Pokemon content, be sure to check out Mystic Umbreon TikTok and Mystic Umbreon Shorts. I think I'm gonna wrap this up though. I'm Mystic Umbreon, and I will see you next time with some more amazing Pokemon content.